Hi, I'm Jesse Waters, in for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching this special edition of the O'Reilly Factor, the Trump Agenda. Let's get right to our top story. Democrats' attempts to sabotage President Trump's agenda. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is under mounting fire from the left after the disclosure that he met twice with Russia's ambassador to the United States during the presidential campaign last year. Some conservatives are seeing more sinister motivations behind Democrats' outrage.
This story is not about Jeff Sessions. This story is not about illegal talks between Trump and his campaign people and the Russians. This story is Barack Obama and the Democrat Party attempting to sabotage the Trump presidency and do everything they can to either render it meaningless and ineffective or to get him impeached or force him to resign.
Joining us now with reaction from Austin, Texas, Karl Rove, former senior advisor to President George W. Bush. So, Karl, gauge this for us here. It's either a bunch of low-life leakers doing what they usually do, leaking stuff to the press, or there you have this theory where former President Obama is holed up somewhere and orchestrating this very devious, counter-espionage campaign and laying landmines throughout the administration trying to derail President Trump. How do you see it?
Well, look, I think there is a media bias in the selection of their stories. I do think the Democrats are on high, they're on high alert, looking for every opportunity to trash a member of the Trump administration. Jeff Sessions, I know him personally. I've known him for years. He's a man of great integrity. He did the right thing by recusing himself. He would have done that anyway because that's the kind of person he is. But what they're attacking him for is a nothing burger. And does President Obama have a direct role in this? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's busy negotiating that $60 million book deal. But I do know this. He has an organization called Organizing for America. It used to be called Obama for America. He started it. He organized it. He funded it. He put the people in charge. And I get their truth team emails, which they send out on a regular basis. And it's all designed to stir people up. Here's one. Trump administration sets stage for mass deportations, they say. Well, I actually read the story, which was from CNN, and it doesn't say that, but that's what the headline is that they wrote for it. Here's another one. Oh, unhappy with Trump? Call your congressman. Local delegation fielding record number of calls. I mean, they are systematically attempting. It's really remarkable. The political organization of the former president never missed a beat. On January 21st, they were out there attacking President Obama's successor, President Trump, and have continued at it. I don't think we have seen this in maybe ever in American history that a president having left office has his political apparatus going tooth and nail after his successor.
You could not resist holding up a white piece of paper, could you?
I couldn't help it. I mean, I'll do it again if you like.
You can't do one segment without it. I know.
Here's a third one. Here's a third one.
It's okay.
I mean,
it's okay. We believe you. Now, I've been reading some information in The Guardian and the National Journal, which said that the Obama administration actually sought and at one point received wiretap approval to listen to the phone calls of Trump officials as late as October. And then when you combine that with this New York Times report that Obama officials are disseminating information about Russia throughout various agencies in the government that will be used during the transition and then uncorked during the first 100 days, it seems like a systematic strategy to take down President Trump. Pretty devious, wouldn't you say?
Well, let's divide these. Let's take the second one first. The reports that the Obama administration officials took information about the contacts between Trump campaign supporters or Trump campaign officials and Russians and disseminated it throughout the government in order that the Trump administration would not be able to suppress this information strikes me as paranoia.
Yeah.
These are a bunch of over-the-top lunatics who are sitting there saying, oh, we so distrust our successor that if he found information that was damaging to America's security interests and that might reflect badly on somebody associated with his campaign, he would bury it. Well, that says something about how they view the current president of the United States.
It sure does.
Inappropriate, but paranoid. The first one, let me, though, say is something different. I have a general sense that the FBI, particularly when they go to get what's called a FISA, that is to say a national security warrant to tape conversations and to intercept conversations, I have a sense that they're acting on the basis of need, and that the judges who grant those FISA requests would not act without some sense that something needed to be listened to. I divorce that entirely. I don't think that was political at all.
Perhaps.
I don't think so.
Now, let me ask you this, because if this had happened with George W. Bush, and you had former Clinton officials going after, they're going after Kellyanne Conway, they went after Flynn, they're going after Sessions, how should President Trump respond to these attacks on his lieutenants? Because it's happening, and I don't know if there's a strategy to counteract it.
Well, look, I think you have to do it almost on a case-by-case basis, but I think tone is important. First of all, don't be diverted. This is an attempt to divert the president's energy and effort, to get him engaged in conversation about Kellyanne Conway on the couch or Jeff Sessions recusing himself. Don't take the bait. Keep focused on the big things. Cutting taxes in order to energize the American economy. Rolling back unnecessary regulations in order to free up the energy of American job creators and prosperity creators. And get rid of, repeal and replace Obamacare. These were the big things that people elected him to. So the first and most important thing is don't take the bait. And second is tone. And the tone ought to be not anger. The tone ought to be disappointment, because most Americans look at this stuff and say that's petty politics.
Yeah.
And the more that the administration says, you know what, we're so sorry that some of our political opponents feel obligated to do this, we're focused on the bigger things that America is concerned about. That's the way to go.
President Trump showed at the joint session that he can rise above party politics, so we'll see if he can do it with these leaks. Thank you very much, Karl. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, incidentally, on your coup. I wonder where you stashed O'Reilly, and
we
if
can't
we'll
tell
ever
anybody.
see him again.
It was a bloodless coup, and he's on an island somewhere in the South Pacific. Up
I
next,
think it's the South Atlantic.
Congressional Democrats in a feeding frenzy over the Jeff Sessions controversy.
Because he's going to continue to press his agenda. And as economic conditions get better, as more jobs get better, they're going to continue to fight. If you think they're going to give you your country back without a fight, you are sadly mistaken. Every day it is going to be a fight. And that is what I'm proudest about Donald Trump. All the opportunities he had to waver off this, all the people have come to him and said, oh, you got to moderate. Every day in the Oval Office, he tells Reince and I committed this to the American people. I promised this when I ran, and I'm going to deliver on this.